we're not starting until 2:30 because our first speaker isn't going to be here until then. Actually, I think we could probably start now if people want to. A couple of people want to go early. Maybe that would be a better way to do this. So yeah, welcome to the uh, final presentation. So if you're, we've done the class and now it's your turn to show us what you've learned, show off your project. So a couple of things before we go again, or before we start. We have, of course, your final paper. So this is just the presentation. Your final paper, of course, will be submitted on GitHub and to my email in a PDF format. Also, I have, if you want to evaluate the class, the evaluations are now live. And I think you got an email about that recently. So if you have any questions about that, let me know. But I think they send you an email and remind you to fill it out. So it would help me for future classes. All right, so I have, let me share my screen here. All right, you can see my screen here. This is our schedule for today. We have Michael, who's not here yet. Brian's here. Munib, who's not here yet. Yuhan, Zoe, Toby, who's here, and Shiva. And so I don't know if Toby or Brian want to go first.
Sure. Yeah, I can
Okay.
go.
All right.
Yeah, for my paper, I'm writing about a mobile app project, focusing on helping young adults stay financially accountable with the help of their friends. The problem that I'm tackling is that many young adults, including like my friends and I, face are following a plan in terms of finances and spending. And when tracking spending and progress in financial goals is an individual experience, it's hard to keep motivated and on track. And there's also challenges in maintaining discipline and learning about personal finance strategies in the first place. So, my solution is finance tracking with friends. This way, you receive support from peers and also more accountability for your goals. Today, there's many apps that connect with your bank accounts and transaction history to help you visualize your spending and savings through graphs and numbers. However, these apps are all narrowly designed for you to keep track of your finances on your own. So, by expanding the view of your spending to a group of close friends or family, you may be able to find yourself held more accountable and in a fun and supportive environment. And talking about some of the principles that I plan to cover in my paper, for deliverables that I'm thinking about, user accounts. So this would include like registering and authenticating user accounts, so implementing like a user-friendly process for you to create an account and also like connect with your bank and things like that. And then managing like your profile and your financial goals and tracking your progress and things like that. And then this user account piece kind of goes into friend and sharing functionality. So being able to like add your friends on this platform um, and also like invite them to join the app. This is like the main piece of the app, which is having that sort of accountability with friends on the platform. So managing your friends, managing like what your friends can see in terms of your like financial goals and progress and things like that. And just creating like a shared space for users and their friends to like view like budget updates or like financial milestones and like goals that maybe they want to track together. And then integration with bank accounts. So partnering with like financial institutions or using reliable third-party APIs to securely integrate the app with users' bank accounts. So it'll be very important to have this piece be very secure and thought out. Um, and then also thinking about like transaction categorization. So if there's ways to automatically categorize and organize transactions into various categories to help users and their friends understand like where their money is going and where they're spending their money. And then push notifications. So this is to try to like keep users engaged with the app and sending like reminders or notifications, like friendly nudges to help them stay on track. And also like celebrating various like financial achievements with friends in mind and things like that. And then lastly, security and privacy. So implementing like end-to-end encryption to safeguard user data and financial information, and then permission controls to allow users to control like how much they want to share with their friends and things like that. And then thinking about like the development process. Um, yeah, I'm thinking of like using some sort of open source framework that will provide the essential structure for creating this kind of a secure and scalable financial accountability app, leveraging like existing open source libraries and APIs for those like user authentication, data encryption, and financial calculation kind of capabilities. And then hosting like this source code on like GitHub for the public repo aspect, um, and allowing like developers and users to examine the code, report bugs, and propose any sort of updates that they'd like to see. Um, yeah, and then just like utilizing the like GitHub features for like community engagement through like the discussion boards and things like that to further the development and see like whatever feedback users provide. Yeah, so that's where I'm at for now.
Okay, that sounds great. Do you think, I think your community is going to be a natural part of this. What kinds
Mm.
of things do you plan to implement to facilitate community interface wise or like other kinds of tools or
Yeah. Um, yeah, I think like yeah, the main differentiator of this app with like other like finance tracking apps is that like friend aspect where like you and your friends can kind of like see like oh like maybe you're like spending the most is on like clothing or like food delivery or things like that. So I think like having that piece would be really good for like um accountability, but in terms of like community, I guess maybe that could be um like scaled to like in terms of just like the general user base, and then users compare how their spending kind of compares to like users in general on the application or something. That might be interesting to look at. um I guess like kind of thinking about like other platforms like Spotify, where they have like Spotify Wrapped, and you can kind of see like where you stand in regard to like the entire Spotify user base. So maybe like something like that, but in a financial sense could be interesting to explore. Um, yeah.
yeah. So there is a psychology of this. Like, sometimes people will participate if the psychology is just right. I mean, by which I mean like if you maybe share that information with your friends, share certain information with your friends and maybe certain information with the general public. And you have to kind of find out what kinds of things people are comfortable with,
Yeah.
because ultimately you have to have participation and people have to feel like this is really helpful, but this is also, you know, within my norms. So,
Hmm. Yeah.
all right. So that's good. Thank you, Brian, for that presentation.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So, does I don't know if Toby wants to go now.
Yeah, I guess I can go now. Give me one
Okay.
second to share the screen and everything.
All right.
Um, okay, I don't know if it's gonna let me go into full presenter view. but I think I'll just stick with this for now, without wasting any more time. But for mine, I want to develop a platform known as Connections. The idea is essentially connecting people and the community all together. The whole idea is definitely modeled after forms of social media, but this is meant to be connected more to our local, more community-based organizations that exist within local areas of the United States. But essentially, the issue I wanted to that kind of inspired this, was a research project that I've been doing for my other IS class, 418, which understands immigrant communities within the United States and understanding how a lot of them face social marginalization within the communities that they settle in. Although the United States is one of the most diverse populations in the globe, attitude towards immigrant populations are not the most accepting. There are many stories, even within Champaign itself, where immigrants are experiencing some sort of, some sort of discrimination, whether that is in a form of social or interpersonal to even things on a legal basis. And a lot of times, what we see is immigrants have oftentimes foregoing a lot of their cultural and traditions in order to assimilate into American culture. But the vision of Connections is meant to essentially preserve a lot of the cultural and traditions of immigrants that exist within the United States. A lot of these communities, they come to the US and they forego a lot of their traditions in order to assimilate into American culture. But what I seek to do with this app or with this platform is essentially create this open source library where people can share and document information on their cultural traditions. Essentially, it's the aim to create this huge online platform that people can learn about the different cultures that exist within their community itself. I think this is this aligns pretty much. This is supposed to be very much dedicated to cultures within the United States, as well as those that are seeking any sort of just wanting to find a community online. But it differs from social media platforms and libraries in the sense that those can be very generalized, and it can be difficult to find your own niche in that space. What Connection seeks to do is straight to the point. It is preserving the culture and traditions of immigrants. It is a platform created by immigrants for immigrants. Some of the deliverables that I kind of just thought about and just in regards to this would be login and user authentication. So in this aspect, similar to how Wikipedia has things where people can edit sorts of information, I kind of envision Connections having a very similar basis of where people can edit the information, where people can add information, but they need to be authenticated. But that doesn't mean you cannot look up or look at certain types of information. Another part of this is library organization. So making sure that we develop some sort of organizing system, whether that's based on, local community structures, or maybe want to base it off of similarities between different continents and the regions that they're from. I think it's really important to develop a method of organizing all this information of different cultures that exist. And this kind of leads into community mapping of events. So especially if you want to learn more about the community or city that you're in and the differing immigrant cultures that exist into it, developing a community map of the different cultures that exist would be extremely helpful. Additionally, friends and sharing compatibilities. This kind of falls in line with community mapping, sort of understanding. Being able to connect with the different communities that exist within your city or town itself. Moreover, security and privacy is a given, making sure that people's data is safe with this, but also an interesting part that I wanted to introduce into this was integration with local libraries. Local libraries do a lot when it comes to community engagement, and it'd be a phenomenal opportunity considering how local this platform seeks to be, would be to connect with local libraries and how they engage with the community around them. Additionally, I want to talk about utilizing GitHub and feedback to better the system. And I talk about this a bit more in developing the platform more and later into the presentation. But I think it's really important utilizing these two features to better the system itself, especially when you're working with a group that is extremely diverse and has multiple needs. It's best not to create an umbrella effect where you expect everyone to fall into one thing. It's important to create sort of a variety of differing, platform accessibility options. And that kind of brings us into the principles of building this platform. A big part of this, as I keep mentioning, is community building. This platform relies on local cultural groups on uploading their information onto the online platform. More as well, as I stated, utilizing local library to help us develop a better outlook on who our patrons could be. Another big part of this is I want to utilize roadmaps to better understand our milestones, whether that is how the app will change and evolve over time, to as well as user output and information input into the database itself. Additionally, project boards like GitHub can help us understand what our objective is and what issues we're facing with the development of the app itself and the platform. But yeah, developing the platform and more, so cultural and social learning. A lot of this falls into the three main ideas of ask, listen, and support. And I wanted to develop the main goal is, of course, developing an online platform that allows for people to contribute their own information, but two, being able to partner with libraries to better understand concepts like community engagement. Libraries are a critical part of this, and I believe this platform can understand a lot through this. Moreover, creating a roadmap or a milestone, we can essentially achieve to understand how many amount of users we would want within a month or so, as well as the information we hope to add, essentially being this online library of cultures and information that exists within the United States. Additionally, I want to utilize this information archive to study and better understand the community, especially within the United States. There's such a diverse amount of information out there, and being able to understand the different groups that exist, it'd be amazing to be able to study this and better understand it better, as well as utilizing the information to better the app. As I stated previously, the app relies on a variety of local cultural groups to contribute to the app, and all the above. So it's really important that we utilize that information that we get from users to better the app and to better how we can change things, whether that's changing the language that people can understand on the app to changing the ways that people can contribute, as well as developing friends and community on the platform. Since this is the aim is to be a very much local based, I guess, platform. I do want people to be able to discover what is existing within their community itself. People to look up things like, oh, what's in Champaign-Urbana? What are the communities that exist here? And be able to research them and understand more about their cultural traditions. But yeah, that summarizes this platform.
That sounds pretty good. Thank you. Any questions about this presentation or even the last presentation if people want to ask questions? Okay. Well, I'll ask a few questions or have a few comments. So, yeah, this is very good. This is a very nice project. And I like how you've kind of hit all the buttons that you need to hit for like what the relevant principles are. So like you have some sort of accessibility, you have community participation, you have people working from like things like project boards and also having that community building aspect. So I think that's great. And then having that sort of social media or having like traditional types of information systems kind of integrated in that way, I think is pretty good. In terms of like GitHub and those sorts of things, you might want to explore if, upon implementing this, you might want to explore different ways that you can integrate project boards and other types of version control systems. So we've worked with GitHub in the class, and that's just one example of a version control system. There are also other ways that other platforms do project boards. So, you have some of your other project board companies, and they have their own implementation. So, I mean, this is something that can be worked out, like on the technical side, that would probably have to be, tailored to that specific use case. So, yeah, this is great. Thank you, Tobin, for your presentation. And it looks like Brian said, cool project, super well thought out. So thank you for commenting.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Go ahead.
No, actually, this is really fun to make and everything. Thank you again.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, Liz says it's a super interesting idea for sure. All right. Looks like Dylan is here. Hello, Dylan. Let's see who else is on the schedule for today. So no one else is on the schedule for today is here yet. It's still 2:25, so I'll give them a couple minutes. But if you're not scheduled for today and you would like to present today, or you're ready to present today, you're welcome to present today. So this is your chance to kind of get your presentation over with if you want to. Yeah, Liz had a comment here. I also enjoyed your project, Brian. And this is for Brian. Finance is definitely something that's huge, especially as college students. That's good. Okay. Liz asked a question for the final paper. If there are figures or graphs that I used, can I input them and talk about the visual? Yeah, that's good. That's actually, you should probably take the figures from your paper and talk about them a little bit. That would be good, for everyone to see that because, I think would help other people too. So yeah, that's good. Definitely. Okay. Yeah. Shiva, I saw your screen.
I just have the.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
Can you see the presentation or the slideshow mode or both?
Yeah. This is good. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I can get started. So my application I wanted to come out with for the open source, our final project was it's called OpenFit. It was basically a collaborative fitness application I was coming out with.
Okay.
And for the why I kind of chose to come out with this idea and went this pathway is for me, I was always interested in the fitness industry itself, but I just felt like over the past few years, nothing has really changed in a way. So over the 10 years, everyone goes back to the same workouts, goes back to the same regimen or whatever it may be. So fitness down the road hasn't changed that much itself, and it's been a lot of people would complain about how it's turned into a boring thing. And I think with my interest in fitness as well as technology itself, I think technology itself has innovated a lot of places, whereas our homes itself in any aspect of life. Whereas, and that being said, there is a lot of technology in fitness. I'm not going to say it's not. For one of the examples I wanted to say was the image that's provided in the presentation itself is called the eGym. The woman working out is it's basically a machine that's used to control your tempo. So on the screen you can see how fast you should go, what's the correct tempo, and when to slow down and stuff like that. I think that's a great thing in technology itself, and that's one of the things that we're progressing with. Kind of the objectives I wanted to get through with this app and the paper itself is to encourage community involvement. And what I mean by that is I want to make this app itself as we're fully community involved and show support amongst users to various fitness objectives. This could vary from people sharing workouts with each other, people sharing their progress, people getting in one branch and their goals together, and overall just make it very very enjoyable and make the working out part easier for everyone. The goal is to showcase its potential impact it will have on our fitness community, and that being said, how our open source concept and the methodologies will aid that process. Uh, why I kind of used the open source model was that app itself I wanted to open a way created for the users to have an opportunity to contribute. What I mean contribute would be fully. A lot of the fitness apps don't have. They will put their basic stuff out with the user interface and a lot of stuff like that, but they won't have it where users can implement their changes into it. And I think open source principle is a very beneficial thing when it comes to that, especially when it comes to making progressive decisions with the application and the responses and ideas that you get from everyone. Um, I think the one beneficial thing we get from using the open source software is we get a very diverse group of contributors. And for this app, I'm kind of looking into, I think that's amazing because we get people that are interested in coding and materials and technology, as well as fitness enthusiasts who may not know so much more about technology, but they have an idea of how they want to move forward with fitness and what worked and what hasn't worked, and also go on with nutrition, right? A lot of people have different styles of nutrition. We can, in this app, we can combine those and see what has worked for everyone. And also, like the whole idea of this app I wanted to create was kind of like based off the open source guiding philosophy and how it contributes within the community itself. I really like the idea of how open source did that. I kind of want to implement that into the same app. When it comes to target audience, I think it's very crucial for any project manager or any project management to take note in, because every project very depends and changes a lot. It's very crucial that we focus into that, and it's all this application itself is targeted those individuals who really value that community engagement. I think in fitness sector itself, having to know what to do or like having the same routine is one of the biggest challenges. And a lot of the times, individuals like end up working out in the same way without anyone to advise them or support them to work towards that goal. I know I kind of wanted to target audience because like in the like say going to the gym everyday basis, you don't get you just like you don't have no the human interaction with them. You learn that, but putting that through open software itself and implementing that into an app is very crucial. And we kind of want to target audience to be, it could be beginners, it could be intermediates, it could be people who are very experienced, it could be a wide variety. One of my paper mainly focused on this part of self strategy. We will be conducting a development cycle within the GitHub repository itself. I think throughout the course, I learned that it provides a lot of transparency through the process and provides very good visibility within the project plans itself. I think with having that, you're never going to get into any clashes with all these contributors being in place, and it gives them a good vision of what we want to accomplish throughout the road. And looking further in, and GitHub could be a great place for like collaborative coding and forums, and even having video conferencing tools, which will create that real life conversation, we create that like the feel a little bit. One of the things I wanted to use was React.js for the dynamic and the user interface for the front library itself. I think it's a very popular front library, and I think a lot of contributors like know this app already. And one of the best things was developers can like reuse this code and build upon it, which is the good thing about React.js. And not only that, it also integrates with something called React Native, which is used for mobile development, which Android and iOS. I think all that goes playing with it very well with creating this app. For database, I think it's also important. But we use PostgreSQL and MySQL, and also other things like MongoDB if necessary for those situations coming in place. And I think this also could vary on what people and what contributors are kind of like more known. So I know a lot of people know PostgreSQL and MySQL, so we would want to use that. I think it would just make it easier for contributors. And one of the three things I want to focus on this paper a lot, I think we focus on this throughout the course a lot too. Issue management, I think will be conducted through a system that we use in GitHub. I think a great example was a quiz 2. We use that task manager to see the to-do list, issues, and when and what kind of path it's in. I think it makes it very easy for everyone looking at it. Also provides a very detailed task and needs for the contributors and the collaborators. Going into version control, in any project itself is very crucial, and especially in an open source project, it is very, very crucial to make sure we have a good version control on this. We want to use GitHub on this again. I think it has a very good such features such as forking branches and other assigning tasks. I think it maintains a very smooth process. But that being said, I think we need to implement a very stable main master branch that people can build off of and break into. Sustainability, it'll be an open license sustainability to maintain application functionality itself. But also that being said, if the project is being engaged with well and the community itself frequently, I think it builds upon itself without a question. I think with the help of this strategy we're trying to achieve, this is an open fit platform. It would make it a very innovative fitness solution and go beyond that whole one size fits all. Can you still see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. It'll go beyond that one size fits all approach that we've been using for like many years with technology in every other field we've been in. I think it'll enable the whole user centric to experience that fitness level based on their goals, levels, and experience. Community. For the end of my paper, I really want to focus on the community aspect of this, as this is my guiding philosophy I've been looking to. I think fitness industry has to see the idea, like I mentioned before, like fitness people know what they're doing. I think reaching out to that industry itself kind of gives us the main idea of what we want to achieve, what we want to tell contributors, what we want to tell them based off of. And building off that, I want to also aim for health informatic community. I think these guys have a very good range between the health side of things as well as the technology side of things. I think receiving people all kind of backgrounds will cover all areas, which I think again a lot of technological fitness apps have not covered. They will say they're covered, but the ones I use have not been covered at all. Since the app will be developed like through the use of open source software, I think users will have the access to like progressive feedback as well as developer will constantly get to see those and modify customization with that feedback. Again, going hand in hand with that, with sustainability going, being very successful, I think this will also be very successful. I think what sets us apart is that this model will require like a very diverse group of contributors and very looking for like fitness enthusiast developments, and it just allows us to focus on very different aspects of this application features as well as the basic development needs and implement like a fully user centric and like a controlled application to its needs. I think with this, I'm trying to break through the same old routine of how it's been throughout the years and kind of use more of that open source principle to create that distinction between all the applications. Throughout my experience, I know a lot of other people's experience, so it's always been the same old, and nothing has really gotten beyond that. I think one thing I learned about open source is that there's definitely more contributors to be more user centric. It's definitely to break through those limitations and fitness solutions and use that open source itself as a user guiding philosophy, like I mentioned. I want to use the whole idea we learned with everything in this class was like there's a lot of ways to collaborate. There's a lot of things that can go in way. And the app itself uses that user centric for people who value that community feeling and combine that with open source to contribute within the fitness industry itself. That's all I have for the presentation. Thank you for listening. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
All right, thank you, Shiva. That was good. Do we have any questions or comments? Okay. Yeah, this was pretty good. You're dealing with kind of some of the same things Brian's dealing with respect to, kind of building a community and trying to figure out, how they can how they can sort of contribute to some sort of user-centric experience and how to make that sustainable, how to get people, to actually use what you're doing, your project. I think you've identified a pretty good niche, and the application of version control I think is very good for kind of if you'd have to implement it in you don't have to implement it the way we've implemented it in class. There are other ways to implement it, but I think that's probably the right way to go.
I
And
just
so
thought that would be the best way for rebuilding for. I think it's very transparency because that's what I wanted to have to be a little bit more transparent as well as community feel. I think what we did in class is perfect for that. So
yeah, that's good to hear. Okay, yeah, thank you. That's very good.
thank you.
All right, now Michael Matz, you're up.
Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
All right. So this is my IS 340 open source final paper presentation. Kind of want to just go over what I plan on doing and some principles that I think will lead to an effective implementation of the problem I'm trying to solve. As for an overview, what I wanted to target on is the obstacles that most college students face, mainly in the post-grad section of their lives. So by this, I mean career support, master's program placement, interview help, and resume help, and overall kind of looking to improve the overall availability and effectiveness of these resources. I feel like a lot of freshmen and sophomores do a great job of expanding their network, joining different RSOs and business fraternities, and they really set themselves up with a strong network and a strong strong enough soft and technical skills to succeed in the corporate world, whether that is finding a job, their dream job, or placing in a master's program that they desire. But a recent problem that have kind of come across amongst my friends is the juniors and seniors who necessarily weren't aware of these resources. And now they're kind of stuck in a rut and don't really know where to go because they haven't been practicing interviews. They don't know the different career paths that they can necessarily take this late in their college career. So the main thing that I have kind of gone upon to talk about is what the school can do to kind of set up every single student up for success. Because at the end of the day, we are in college to get educated, and the majority of us are going to end up either doing more school or going on and getting a job. And I'd like to see a little bit more out of the university to kind of set their students up for success, and kind of some in-class applications that I thought can be really applied to get this started is the same dashboard and like job board that we saw using GitHub in Quiz 2. I think that did a great job of kind of listing out the progress of every single task that needs to get completed, and basically just having an organized and like in-depth to-do list to achieve this. Some principles that kind of connected to some of the teachings that we learned in class is collaboration and accessibility, along with mentorship. I took more of a not as technical approach into this, and I really think the soft skills that the school can really teach us is what will mainly benefit most students. Starting off with collaboration, we want to provide our students with a network, and mainly connecting students with other students who have the same career goals. Yes, at the end of the day, this is going to end up being your competition. You're going to be competing with your peers. But at the start, when everybody's kind of the same playing ground, it's really important to rely on your peers for feedback and kind of help each other and really build that class community with your grade regarding what kind of career path you want to take. And along with that, also learning about different career paths that students can take based on their major and their hard skills and overall passions that they want to pursue. So I really think collaboration is the first step into achieving this goal. Next is accessibility. Like I kind of talked about in the overview, there's plenty of resources already available on campus by business fraternities and different RSOs that kind of provide students with those resources and help. But the students that we're really trying to tackle here is the juniors and seniors who are kind of late to the game, but they're still getting the same education as everybody else and weren't as career focused early on in their college career. So I really think the school should take responsibility and make everybody aware of these resources, or require everybody to take these resources seriously. I see in like IS 101 and Business 101, for example, there's plenty of resume reviews, but I'd kind of argue that they're fake and they don't really achieve the like proper like resume that you will need to succeed. And I think the school should kind of do a better job of setting students up for success in the corporate world in that regard, and additionally provide documentation on and support for users with like varying levels of expertise. Every student is different, and I think if they see different success stories that from like older classes, then that will be the first step in helping these students kind of achieve their goals in the career world or whatever master's program that they'll be pursuing. Lastly is mentorship. Students pay a lot of money in tuition, and one of the things that we are paying for on top of school is the alumni network. And I think the school could do a great job of connecting students with alumni that have recently graduated and are 2 to 5 years out into their career, and they kind of get to share their college experience and how they achieved their goals and how they got to where they were, but also connecting students with people that are 40 years into their career and have kind of have that end goal already achieved. And those people will provide students with a better picture of how a career essentially flows. So to kind of like go into more detail on this, create a learning friendly environment, and resources and skill development and knowledge sharing with the alumni and students. And on top of that, also encourage mentorship initiatives that teach students how to succeed. How are they going to achieve these goals? And having I think it's very important for the university to help students kind of enable them to reach their full potential. And I didn't exactly go in depth about this in the presentation, but I really think the best goal or best I guess solution that we have to this problem is if the university were to set up some sort of database that is essentially social media for students that allows them to connect with each other based on their career goals, and from that they're able to help each other, whether that's career tips or interview help, and they get to kind of help each other. And I think that's the first initiative that we should take on regarding the mentorship and accessibility principles. And that's the end of my presentation. So do you have any questions?
Thank you, Michael. That was great. Yeah, do we have any questions from anyone? Okay, yeah, I have a question. So yeah, this is a great, vision, and I think you've got some principles in there that would help sort of realize this. One of the issues with realizing it, of course, is that the career services does some of this, but they, it's hard. It's hard to actually implement it, I guess, is the thing. So I mean, they're not like sometimes they have blind spots, but a lot of times they try to do things like I've been on like these kind of social media sites for alumni or whatever, and it's like the level of participation is really kind of maybe the problem. It's like it's there, but it's no one uses it, or they're not motivated to use it. So what kinds of things can you do to motivate people to use these kind of tools to really kind of there is this kind of collective behavior problem where who's going to do people find it worthwhile to invest their time into building these connections or doing mentorship or other things like that. So that's one of the things I think, just as much as like the technical side, that you would have to sort of address, and you
Yeah,
could do that through like community building. So
exactly. I mean, I'm by no means reinventing the wheel here. I understand that the university already provides a lot of career resources, but
yeah,
a lot of people don't use it because I personally haven't used it. I've learned everything when it comes to getting a job through my business fraternity or doing my own research and my own networking calls. But I think that some of that work that I put in could be slightly offloaded by the university. And I think some first steps that they can really do to kind of optimize their kind of user interaction, I'd say, is to share success stories and really share what they have to offer. If you ask me, all I know is that they do resume reviews and they do mock interviews, but you very rarely hear anything of success stories or hear like this person came into the career center and got X, Y, and Z job because of the skills they were able to attain from the career center. You don't hear anything about that. So this is more so a different approach and a different angle into the, I guess, career services that the university already offers.
yeah, I think that's good, and that's like all about finding a niche for the project, as we had mentioned in class. So definitely, refining the niche is I think pretty important for this project, and I think you've identified it. So that's good. Yeah, thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
So let's see. We have. I'm not sure who is here that's on the list next. So we have. I don't know if Munib is here, or Yuhan, or Zoe. I don't see anyone else on the list. We did have a couple people here, Raihan and Rosalind. They joined in. Would either of you like to present today, or are you ready to present?
I'm not ready to present yet, Professor.
Okay, well, that's fine.
I'm also not ready yet.
Okay. Let's see, what does the schedule say? So I guess the next scheduled talk is 3:00. So we'll take another short break and we'll come back at 3. I mean, it's like 6 minutes. So we'll be, if you want to ask questions, please do, to each other, any of the presenters. Share your thoughts.
Professor, for the video right now, is it going to be available to watch later, or?
Yeah, I can make it available for people to watch later. So you can go through the talks.
Mm.
Yeah, so yeah, well, I'll prepare it, and then I won't include everything, just the talks themselves.
Oh, I have a question for the final paper. For the
Yeah.
final paper, do we have to submit it first, or can we submit it later after we've done presenting?
No, well, you can submit it whenever. I mean, I'll give you feedback on your projects, but that's it's usually not something that's, unless you've really gone off track. It's but I mean, that's, you can submit it, before you give a presentation. I would probably wait until after, just because,
Okay.
just to kind of think about it a little bit more. But yeah,
And we submit our final paper to your email, right?
and to the GitHub repository is,
Okay.
if you go there, you'll see that there's a tab for where that there's a directory for a final paper template.
Mm-hmm. So for the one in
Do we attach our presentation there too?
Or
are we not really submitting the presentations?
Oh, the presentation? Well, yeah, you don't have to submit your presentation. I've seen it, so that part is done. So
So it's just the paper that needs to be submitted to your email and Git repository, and that's it?
Yeah, that's it.
Got it. Just want to clarify.
Hey,
For the
Professor,
one,
I also
for
have a question.
okay.
Oh, sorry, you can go ahead. I'm gonna talk.
Okay.
Okay.
For the email, do we send our final paper as in a Word document, or should we just send a GitHub link?
Well, usually a PDF,
A PDF?
file would be best. Yeah.
Okay.
So just convert it over. Yeah.
I had a question about the paper. I know on the online it said 10 pages. How do you want around 10 pages, like low less than 10 pages? I find, or
Yeah, I mean, if you aim for like 2,500 words,
gotcha.
that's usually it. And then you can put in, I encourage you to put in figures if you have diagrams, like of your roadmap and things like that. It's just easier to like kind of understand some of these processes are always like very visual.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, Zoe's here. Sharon is here. Welcome. So it looks like, yeah. What would you like to go now, Zoe?
Yeah, can I just go ahead and share my screen?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so let me just go ahead and. Okay, so today I'll be presenting my final presentation, and I'll just start out with the project and community that I have selected. So I decided to work within the field of healthcare. I worked with a large healthcare organization this summer, and I really enjoyed working within that field. So I kind of wanted to incorporate my interest into this project. And I also wanted to make it a little bit more relatable. So I was thinking about healthcare services on college campuses. And being on a large campus like U of I for the last 4 years, I've definitely seen a lot of positives and negatives of the healthcare systems and facilities that we have offered. So I'm looking to improve and expand upon the services being offered within my project. And then I touched on the three main principles that I want to consider in my final paper. The first being accessibility, the second being privacy and security, and then the third being user-centered design. So starting out with accessibility, just some of the main points that I wanted to touch on was ensuring that the healthcare services are easily accessible to members of the entire college campus. Obviously, the population is constantly changing every year, and this includes students, parents, faculty, and staff. So just making sure that it's accessible and available to all. And then having a forefront focus on inclusivity. Um, of course, with such a large community and population, we have a lot of different needs and abilities of different users. So, just ensuring that all of those abilities and needs are met, which again is that focus on inclusivity throughout. And then prioritizing accessibility standards to accommodate individuals with disabilities. And we may see that individuals with disabilities are more frequently visiting health facilities here on campus. So just ensuring that that is accessible to those and available at all times. And then allowing for user feedback, especially those with those diverse needs that I've touched on, just so that we're not assuming that we're meeting those needs and actually hearing from them firsthand. And then moving on to privacy and security. The first note I had was implementing privacy measures to protect personal health information. Of course, this information has to be kept very secure, so those measures are extremely important. And then also establishing clear protocols for handling personal data within the open data unit. The measures and protocols here are probably the most important aspect, just because health information is very personal and secure. And then adhering to legal and regulatory requirements in the United States. Of course, in other countries, those may be different, but specifically here on this university and universities across the country, we're looking specifically at those requirements here in the US. And then regularly performing security audits just to make sure that the testing is going smoothly and everything is working well, and encouraging the reporting of vulnerabilities both by members of the community and members of the health system. And then lastly, user-centered design. So we see that user experience is extremely important, especially with technology emerging every day. So prioritizing that user experience. This may be user involvement, iterative design, usability, and accessibility. Some ideas that I already touched on earlier in the presentation. And then conducting user research to once again understand the needs, preferences, and challenges of the college campus community regarding these healthcare services. That user research is going to be very important to understand what different individuals on this campus need. And then once we get that feedback and understand that research, we can then iterate on the design based on it to create a system that is intuitive and friendly for all to use. And then, other than the three principles I've chosen to focus on, I did want to mention a few other principles to consider for my project. The first being scalability and looking at how to scale this project with the growth of the college community. The next being community engagement, encouraging the community to be a part of the project and a part of the growth, maybe even having some sort of communication channels for members to discuss and share their ideas. And lastly, the idea of continuous improvement to ensure that feedback is being taken into account and that is allowing for regular improvements overall. And then, in conclusion, by adhering to these principles, an open source project focused on expanding healthcare services on college campuses can create a sustainable, secure, and user friendly solution that meets the evolving needs of the college community. And then I would love to open the floor to any questions.
Okay, thank you, Zoe. So are there any questions from anyone here? All right. Yeah, so this is great. I think you applied a number of principles in kind of a unique way. There are things that we do in like software development, which is like I did focus quite heavily on that in the course. But we can apply these in different ways. Like in the healthcare system, you can apply them, and it's just a matter of figuring out, if that meets the needs of improving the healthcare system. So I think you had some you touched on some pretty good points in this talk. So, yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome. So yeah, so we have, let's see, we have two more people on the schedule, Yuhan and Manib, and I don't see either of them here. It looks like Sharon is here. Hello. And I don't know if you would like to go. Oh, I guess Sharon left. So, okay. So we're scheduled here for 3 o'clock. Munib, I don't see Munib here right now.
I know he has something come up, and he told me he emailed you, so could do that.
Okay, so yeah, you might have to reschedule. All right. Well, yeah, it may have to happen. So if I think Rosalind emailed me about scheduling a time to present. So you weren't ready today, but like if you want to do it next Tuesday, we can do that. I don't know what time is best for you on Tuesday, next Tuesday.
For me?
Yeah, it looks like you're on for 3:15 actually.
Yeah,
next
3:15
Tuesday.
works for me.
Okay, good. Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Right. So I'll wait until 3:15 for Yuhan, and I don't know if they're going to show up. So unless you have, if you have other questions, you can raise them now. We can talk about some things. Otherwise, we can take a short break and wait for 3:15. Okay, yeah, Sharon said I got kicked out of Zoom, but I signed up for a December 5 slot. Yes. So okay, that's good. I'll put you on for December 5. What time did you sign up for?
I think 5:15. I think.
Okay,
5?
yeah. So we have 5 or actually, yeah, we have 5 and 5:15. How about 5:30?
Yeah, that works. Thank you.
Okay, all right, that's good. And if you're going on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, we sometimes run a little like people don't take that whole slot. So if you can come a little early, we can present earlier. And if you come early, if you come early enough, you can pick up someone else's slot who couldn't make it. So
Okay, sounds good.
looks like Yuhan is here.
Hi, Professor.
Hello. Are you ready to
Hi.
present? Hi.
Yes.
Okay.
Then let me share screen real quick.
Yes.
So I'm going to start. So hello everyone. Welcome to my presentation. And the project that I'm going to discuss in my paper to manage about is to create a website with visualization dashboards that are used for accounting education in Geese College of Business. Then with the open canvas, it can provide us with better understanding on how the project will be look like. So first is about the problem. So the problem that can be addressed through our project is because mainly currently when the instructors are teaching the accounting modules, mainly they will use their the teaching materials built by themselves. For example, some Excel templates. Then it sometimes will cause some technical glitch and issues that will mess up with whole templates. So it'd be very annoying for both the instructor and students. Then also when the professor are demonstrating something through handwriting on the whiteboards, it sometimes will be hard for students to understand the handwritings, and also it will be hard for them to refer back later during their study. Then also because when almost always in most situation it involves with complex instructions. It involves files and platforms. So for example, like mainly it will be have the instruction of the modules on Canvas. Then it will require you to also access to other like Excel files or other platforms to continue for the accounting module learnings. So it becomes really complex for both student and the accounting professors. Then the solution that our project come up with is to build the web page and with the automated these accounting educational modules, and also have some interactive visualization dashboard used for educational purpose. Then for the key metric, so first to measure our the success of our project, so first we're going to use is the student feedback. We will survey the student to see if they are satisfied with our webpage or not. Then the second key metrics will be students' grades. So like to check after using this webpage if it successfully helped them to improve their academic performance or not. Then for the resources required for this project, so first will be the support and permission from Gates College of Business, because for building this website we'll need to use some logos of Gates College of Business, kind of like that. Then the second will be support from accounting instructors, because we'll need them to provide professional guidance and also suggestions. And the third will be support from CS or IS professor, because we'll also need professional advice on like how to build the website, some to provide some technical guidance. Then the fourth will be the collaboration from a whole like accounting students community, because we're building the website for them for their like accounting learning. So we'll need them to actively to participate in using our website and also providing us with feedback. And then moving on to the right side, so starting from is the unique value proposition. So what our project can provide is like first for the users, which is also the accounting learners, we can provide them with a better learning experience. Then for the contributors, we will have two types of contributors. So first is the student contributors. There will be the people like to really like to programming and build a website. So it can provide them with opportunity to learn and also practice and demonstrate the skills. Then the second type of contributors will be professors. Then there will be the people who like to project at the high level, provide professional guidance and help. And the like source, it can provide them with like better.
We lost Yuhan. Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
Right.
sorry, I caught files. Excuse me, is my audio okay?
Yeah, it's breaking up still, but
Hi, excuse me, is my audio okay?
yeah, now it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I see.
Okay, we're back.
I got it. Sorry, my internet connection is not that stable. So continue to the user. The user we expect is the first, which will be the GEES accounting students and instructors who will utilize the website that we build. Then for the long-term users will be other universities or students who would like to adapt our project to build their own accounting educational webpage. Then the user channels will be like when they like are taking the accounting courses or when they are teaching the accounting courses. Then moving on for the contributor profiles. So first contributor will be accounting or CSIS
She froze up again.
direct communication. So we'll directly reach out to the professors to ask them if they're willing to, if they're interested in this project. Of channels will be the RSO recruitment. This is like specifically for our like student contributors. So like maybe we are going to form a RSO like to specifically working on this project. Then we can attract talented contributors through our RSO recruitment. The next is about the licensing. So like since as mentioned, other universities can also be the potential users. But like since different universities can have like different accounting course settings, such as even though it's the same accounting concepts, but they may teach them in different sequence, or they may have different case context to like integrate with. So like having licensing can allow other universities to adapt our codes and to based on their own course material and to build their own accounting educational web page. Then the license that our project going to use is the CC BY NCSA. So first it can allow to like recognize our original attribution. And also it should not allow for any commercial use because we only expect this to use for nonprofit and educational purpose. And also it cannot change the license when adapting our project because like since we want to like permanently to like for no commercial use, so we also don't want to like change the license like to let them to have the chance to make it for commercialized use. Next will be about the structure of our student contributor teams. So we will have two teams. The first team will be mainly GISA accounting students because they have better accounting knowledge. So like they will determine the web page contents. Then the second team will be CSIS since they have more professional programming skills. So they will be like programming and coding to build a page. Then about our like contributor community governance. So mainly we will consider two aspects. So first aspect will be the controlled vocabulary. So we will have documents like to write about like all the accounting concepts and the definition that are involved in building the web page so that it can let the team know like which term we are referring to, and also like for those CS and IS contributors, they may do not have much accounting knowledge. Then for this document, it can provide them with better understanding about what we are going to build, so they can have better understanding on the project. Then also we will have the document like to define like which specific programming languages and framework we are going to utilize through building this project, because there are like a diverse approach that we can use like to build a web page. So like we will have the team to make agreement on which specific language we're going to use. So like everyone like make everyone on the same page, and also to find the best way to present our educational materials. Then the second aspect is about the code of conduct. So we'll also have a document that like to let the team to make agreement on it, and also to design the code of conduct. So it will like contain contents the following for topic. So first will be like communication. For example, like how can we have effective communication, and also like how can we define ghosting. For example, like such as like the team members shouldn't like not answering message more than 24 hours or something like that. And also like how to define how can we achieve effective teamwork, also how can we make sure psychological safety, and also how can we achieve inclusion. The project we're working collaboratively, and the first platform we're going to use is GitHub, and we're going to use the vertical the request, and also can see like different like versions of our product. And the following will be the documentation. So like how we archive our documents. Squares in light blue will be folders, and the squares with the white will be files. Then so first we will have three big folders. So first will be the web page code, will be mainly contain the web page coding files. Then the second big folder is and it will have one folder for each accounting module. It will contain and content such as like the demand from the actor and also accounting concept involved and the and also the real like UI UX design demo and with the Figma link. And also it will contain the file of user feedback. After we successfully build a web page, we will also see the user feedback. So that result should be filed into that folder and to contain the feedback summary, CSV, and also the analysis on user feedback, then all the according adjustment we proposed. The third big folder is the project management. Then it should contain two documents. So first is the code of conduct and also the argument map. Argument map will be mainly used like to at the beginning of the project, like to determine which programming language that we are going to use. And also the subfolders will be meetings, and it will contain date and weeks, and also each team meeting we have, the notes we have. If we have recording, we will also put it there. Then we'll also utilize GitHub for progress tracking. We'll use the Kanban roadmap and the issues. So we will first have the issue categories will be urgent, in progress, on hold, dependent, and completed. Then the issue tag we will going to like specifically have like which like accounting module name we're working on, and also this issue belongs to, and which like phase in the working cycle we're in. And for the phase in the working cycle, I will demonstrate in later slides. And also the assignee, like which team this issue is belong to. Is it belongs to team 1 or team 2 or both? And also the issue title and description. We will the second tool we are going to use is Slack. We will use for team communication on text, and also we will have a separate channel for team building. For example, to have some team building events, and also we will send a message on Slack for deadline reminders. Then the third tool we're going to use is Zoom. So we're going to host team meeting or the meeting with instructors on Zoom. And since it can allow us to share screen, so it's a really good choice for demonstration, especially where like using coding and also to build a website. So like have a virtual meeting can like be more convenient for demonstration, and also it can allows us to record our meeting. So whenever we want to like refer back to like what we talked about previously, we can use the recording. Next part is about the working cycle. So since like for the accounting modules, like since we have different accounting courses, so like we may start with only one accounting courses, but eventually we plan to cover all the accounting courses, all the accounting modules covered in this College of Business. So kind of like we will going through like multiple cycle. So first will be the page is and this will determine based on user feedback will determine if it needs improvement. If we still need improvements on the current module, we'll go back to the second phase for UI UX design to revise the UI UX design for the current phase, then go through the rest of the code. if the phase 4 we determine that the current accounting module looks good, no more improve need, then we'll still go back to the second phase. Now we'll begin to develop with the new and to go to the rest of the inside. And I will explain it like more detailedly. So first, during the setup phase, our contributors will be team 1 and team 2. So like we'll need to create the code of conduct that everyone's agreed on, and also to determine like which programming language and framework we're going to use. And the tool we're going to use is GitHub and Markdown. So like we will like put all those like record all these documents with the Markdown language so that everyone can access and read on GitHub. And here's the folders and the files that are involved with the documentation. The second phase is the UI UX design. So it relates to the team 1. So like we will identify accounting modules and also to connect with instructors to learn demands and create demands and context document and also draw the web page layout. And third is the web page development. So the contributor will be team 2. So like they will program the logics for the visualization dashboard and also to have the front end development. Fourth phase will be the user feedback analysis. This belongs to team 1. So they will collect user feedback and analyze the user feedback and also propose the potential adjustment. Then if they identify any improvement need to make, they will also to the issue on the Kanban roadmap. And that's all for my project.
Thank you. Looks like everyone left, so yeah, you're the last presenter today. So yeah, I didn't really have any questions. I thought that was very impressive how you've applied the principles and thought through the project structure. So I'm glad to see someone use the map there that we had from like the second day of class. So that's great. Yeah, so good luck with the project, and I look forward to seeing your final paper.
Yeah, thank you so much. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.